Today's show is brought to you by Audible. And guess what? It's offering each and every one of our listeners a 30-day trial membership, and that comes with a free book. audibletrial.com/PBT. And if you're looking for a good book to start and listen to, I highly recommend Gaunt's Ghosts. It's an amazing book I've been listening to. There are 16 books in the series. I'm on book 4. It's in the Warhammer 40K realm. And let me just tell you, it's about as gory of a brutal war book as you can get. It's definitely worth listening to. Just go to audibletrial.com/PBT and listen to the first book free of charge on us. Go, listen.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome into Peanut Butter and Trigger. We're back. I'm Scott, joined by my main man,
Jacob Borer.
Yep, Jacob, definitely Jacob.
Just kidding. This is Jace. What's up?
Yo, what's up? Hey, sorry everyone that our lives have been a little bit crazy. Jacob's not here today. He's has some family issues, just like we've had back and forth. We want to say we're sorry. We're not trying to be lazy, but
I was sick, so screw you guys.
And I was just spending time with the fam bam. Life's just complicated right now, but guess what? We're here, and we're going to make you enjoy your ears right now. We're going to talk about our PDW. We're going to talk a little bit about crypto. There's a huge microchip shortage, which has created a shortage on PS5s and GPUs. And then lastly, we're going to close out this bad boy speaking about the Apple versus Epic Super Showdown. Hey, how about you start with your PDW and get these people caught up to what's going on in your life?
Well, I haven't been playing any video games still. I don't have a PlayStation 5 still. But I am hopefully going to start looking more seriously starting next month. And hopefully I'll be able to play like Resident Evil Village. I'll be able to play Returnal and Deathloop when they come out. But so far, I'm not playing anything. The only things that I've watched lately, and I know it's been a while, but I've watched Married at First Sight. It's about to go fucking down. The finale's waiting in my DVR right now. We finished 600 Pound Life, and Scott, I think you finished that too, right?
No, we're behind. I think we got caught up in, I'll talk about Handmaid's Tale on mine, but we got caught up in another show, but we'll be back on 600 Pound Life after it.
Okay, cool. I also started watching, what the hell? Oh, big one, Mortal Kombat the movie. We'll talk about that afterwards. We'll give it a grade. Yep. And that's pretty much it. Like, aside from like NBA basketball that I've been really getting into because the season's winding down, I haven't really done much. So, sorry guys. Sorry,
we've disappointed you. Playing Call of Duty. I picked up Call of Duty, the new one, Cold War. I mean, it's definitely a step back from Modern Warfare, but it's fun enough. Like, I generally enjoy it. One of the big differences is in Modern Warfare, like, when you upgraded your gun, it changed how it works. So, like, for example, you could get the M4, but you could make it a submachine gun. So you make the round smaller, so it had, like, a higher rate of fire but did less damage and had a higher capacity magazine. Or you could do bigger rounds, and then you had less ammo in your magazine, but it did more damage. It changed the look of the gun and everything. On this Call of Duty, I feel like it was a step back in that every upgrade is just a percentage, so it literally just has 17% reduced recoil, which isn't quite as fun, but it's a fun enough game overall. But I will say it's fucking massive, dude. 500 gigabytes is how much stupid Call of Duty Modern Warfare and the new, whatever it's called, Cold War takes up with Warzone, and it requires you to download Warzone. And dude, it's just unbelievable. Like, I literally have like nothing on my PS5 but Call of Duty. It's unbelievable.
Why does it require you to download Cold War?
Dude, it requires you to download Warzone. Oh, I don't know. I never played Warzone.
There's no real reason for that, right?
No, I think it should be a completely separate game. Like, you should just have to go in and like click Warzone and download Warzone. But No, like you have to have like when you start either Modern Warfare or you start Call of Duty Cold War, even if you don't have one or the other, it will show on the main menu screen both games. So like I didn't have Cold War for a long time, but it was just on the main menu. Like you could click multiplayer and it'd say buy now. So it was like made me download all this shit.
Yeah.
But so playing that, just today started playing Resident Evil 8, and let me say so far I'm probably about 2 hours in and I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's definitely a
How
departure.
many times have you gotten a boner?
Dude, it is weird. They have like this 9-foot tall, like vampire mistress lady.
She's good looking.
Dude, it's weird. The whole game's weird. It has werewolves too, and this guy who can control like he can control shit with his mind. It's weird. It's nothing like any other Resident Evil.
It's like me.
What's that?
It's like me.
It's weird. But that's all I've really been playing. I haven't been doing a whole lot, to be honest. Just the same old, same old. I did see Jacob yesterday.
What?
Because I stopped into his work. Last week he hooked me up with some salmon. And so my wife and I wanted some cod this week. And so I texted him like on Tuesday night, was like, hey, do you guys carry cod? He's like, yeah, it's like $12.99 a pound or something. So I drove down there and he happened to be like in the store and he totally hooked me up with some cod and salmon. So that was dope. He gave you his
cod?
Yeah, he gave me his cod. A whole half pound of it.
Damn.
So yeah, that's what he did. Lastly, watching. My wife and I have been binging Handmaid's Tale every night. We watch 1 or 2 episodes. It's good. I will say it's way better than I ever expected. I didn't really know what Handmaid's Tale was. So my wife's like, we should just give it a chance. And we gave it a chance. And I don't want to say anything to prospective watchers because it will spoil it. What I will say is that we're on season 3. And we're still getting flashbacks of characters that are from the first episode. So, like, one character at, like, season 3, like, episode 6, we're seeing someone from the first episode who's been in the show the whole time, what they did. And so it's almost like this weird, like, you're like, dang, this whole time we've been watching her and she's been really brutal or whatever, and now we're getting to know what happened or how she became who she was. So it definitely does a good job, like keeping you in the dark as to what's going on in general. So that's what we're watching, and really that's all we're watching. I did watch the draft. I know most our listeners don't really care about, probably won't care as much about football, but if you know who I am, you know I'm a Packers fan, and so it's been a weird.
That's what I was going to ask about. I think we should maybe pump our brakes on video games and a bunch of nerdy shit, and let's talk about some straight up jock stuff. I don't really follow NFL, but I have been hearing about the drama with Green Bay, and I know that the drama surrounds like them drafting a quarterback and the ownership group not really putting together a good enough team for Aaron Rodgers to make a confident push, because they almost made it to the Super Bowl last season, right?
Yeah, they were literally a touchdown from being in the Super Bowl. It's one of those. All right, so we don't know exactly what's going on with Aaron Rodgers because there's been a lot of like phony news. So like when it all went down on draft day, like I just tuned into the draft and like Aaron Rodgers wants to be traded. Aaron Rodgers won't play for Brian Gutekunst. Aaron Rodgers wants the GM fired. There's like all this shit. And then they're like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, the Denver Broncos. The deal is as good as done. It could be done by the end of the day. Like, and it came out that all that shit was fake. Not all of it, but a lot of it was fake and was all coming from one source, Adam Schefter. So, like, there's a lot of Packers hate going on towards Adam Schefter. But the long and the short of it is I think he is probably disgruntled. I think there's definitely some real truth to it. Today there is an article that was written that the Packers offered him to be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, and he declined. So obviously there's like a rift. In my view, that we were the Green Bay Packers before Aaron Rodgers, and we'll be the Packers after Aaron Rodgers. And if he doesn't want to be part of the Packers, then like trade him away. I know that he is the NFL MVP. I know that he's really good, but at the same time, like I feel like it's poisonous for your team if you have a player who doesn't want to be on the team.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people can relate that are a fan of sports because whatever respective sport that they're a fan of probably has like a superstar that's been disgruntled at some point in their career. And yeah, if they're disgruntled and they're not playing up to their potential, that's one thing. But if it's an MVP level player, do you think that that's wise? Do you think that the situation is repairable by putting together a better team around Aaron Rodgers to be able to make another Super Bowl effort?
It's hard because I also hear, like, I had buddies say, well, you guys have basically done Rodgers dirty and he like never had wide receivers or whatever, whatever they say around him. But we had the best left tackle in football. We had one of the best rookies in football. We had the best offensive line. We had a top 5 running back. We had the best wide receiver in the league. And we had a top 10 defense. Like, it's hard. Like, my wife asked me even like months ago, she's like, do you think Aaron Rodgers would want to leave? And I said, well, he might want to leave for like personnel reasons. Like, he doesn't get along with someone, but you can't go somewhere and get a better team. You're 13-3. You're the best team in the whole NFC. Literally the whole NFC. You were the number 1 seed. You're the only team in the NFC with the bye into the playoffs. And you made it to the NFC Championship and you lost by basically 1 touchdown. I'm not like, you're literally top of the league, so it's not like you go somewhere and you're better, We're as good as any team in the league. So obviously it's a personnel issue to me. Like, the rumor was that Aaron Rodgers came out, and there used to be this guy named I don't remember what his name is, but he was a wide receiver who was like he was maybe a 4th wide receiver for the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers came out and said that he really liked him, and then like the next day they cut him. So obviously there's some sort of like disconnect with Aaron Rodgers and the like higher ups.
Like out of spite?
No one knows. Obviously they know, but the rumor is that pissed off Aaron Rodgers but again, Aaron Rodgers remains like silent. The only people who's talking about it is all the media, and all the media always around Aaron Rodgers is constantly shit talking him. And he used to go on the Pat McAfee show, which is like the only place he did real interviews. And he said like, dude, I don't talk to the media. It's like a circus. He says one thing, he'll be like, man, I just feel like our offense could have played better today. And like, no joke, 10 minutes later, Aaron Rodgers trashing the Packers offense. Is it the end? Blah, 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 tabloid articles when it's not something he said, And so it's hard to know what's real. But I think if you want my official prediction, what happens, I think post June 1st, he'll get traded. That's what I think is going to happen.
So here's a wild theory, because I know that there's a lot of discontent in Seattle too. And I know they're in the same conference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there could be a trade between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers to just basically, swap quarterbacks to see what happens?
I think that the only way that happens is if Russell Wilson is truly really upset, because there was like 1 month where everyone said he was upset, but it seems to have kind of like died out. If he's honestly really upset, I think that maybe something could like that would happen. But to be 1,000% honest with you, I think that the Seattle Seahawks would be taking like the loss in that case, because Russell Wilson is younger. Yeah. And he's on a longer contract. So the Packers or the Seahawks would be picking up a 38-year-old quarterback like at the end of his contract. So you're going to either have to pay him or you're going to have to it would be a loss for Seattle. So I think the only way they would do something like that is if they actually won it out, like they knew there's nothing else. Like, this is the best option.
They would have to make that deal sweeter too, right? And Green Bay wouldn't play ball with that.
Well, no, I think it could be, if it's, in my opinion, it could be a straight across. I think Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback, but he's older. Yeah. So I think it could be straight across. I think if anything, in my opinion, and again, I'm not like an expert when it comes to trading, I think if anything, the Packers would have to sweeten the deal, but I don't think they would.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, so the Packers would have to sweeten the deal in order for Seattle to take it. Like, put yourself in the front office. Let's just say, Scott, you're a general manager. You're the one that's in charge of firing these deals. So if you were Green Bay, for example, Do you think that you could get it done straight across? You're saying yes?
If I'm the GM, it's hard because if I'm the GM in Green Bay, I ship off Aaron Rodgers to Denver, take a boatload of picks and maybe a good veteran defensive player, and then I start our rookie that we spent a first round draft pick on last year. I ride with him, yeah, because it's hard, but the Packers seem to be really invested in Jordan Love, who's the rookie we drafted in the first round. So if they're into him, I think that they're into him. There's no reason to go get a high-profile quarterback when you could, rumor on the street is the trading for Rodgers is 3 first-round draft picks, a couple later picks, a third and a fifth maybe, and or another player. That's a lot, dude. Yeah. 3 first-round draft picks, a team giving up its top pick for the next 3 years, which is crazy. So I would take that over Russell Wilson just because I think that, I want to believe in Love.
Yeah.
As a future quarterback. So that's basically all I have to say about it. I'm just watching, but I think if anything's going to happen, it's going to have to happen after June 1st, because if it happens after June 1st, then we owe Aaron Rodgers $8 million less. It hits the salary cap $8 million less. The big thing that a lot of people too are talking about, well, maybe he retires. He might retire, but he's going to owe Green Bay I think the number's $15 million. He'll owe Green Bay, and then turn around and he won't get the $15 million in pay that he's due this year because he retired. So it's an expensive proposition for Aaron Rodgers to retire.
No, it wouldn't make sense. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, the only way that there is a possibility, because basically right now, this is a separate talk, but right now in the NFL, the NFL or the teams basically own the players. The players have no control or say what they do. And so it could also be a flex move by the Packers to say, look, it doesn't matter if you're the reigning NFL MVP, you don't get to pick what happens to you. So you can retire or you can play football. So that's possible that they'll just flex on them just to show, look, you don't get a say in what happens here. But who knows?
Well, gee, sorry everybody. We went off and turned into an NFL podcast for a minute.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But hey, if you have any questions or you want to talk to me about it, hit us up. I'd love to talk to anybody about it. But yeah. So I watched the draft, and it was a weird draft to say the least. But other than that, that's all I got. I did last thing I did basically murder out my PS5. It's pretty dope. It's all black.
I saw that.
I ordered some custom chrome stickers. So they're made of metal. They're actually metal stickers from Etsy. So it has a chrome PS logo on it, and I also got a Sony logo. And I think it looks 1,000 times better than the white.
Dude, I still think that they shouldn't have come out with a white PlayStation 5. I think it looks stupid and it looks cheap. I know that the texture on it is pretty nice, but aside from that, if it was a matte black, it would have been a million times better.
Yeah, I literally have the matte black right in front of me, and it looks a lot nicer. It here, I'll show you. It looks to me,
that's what it should look like.
This is chrome logo, and then that looks nice to me.
Yeah, you applied that pretty well.
Hey, thanks. It was kind of a pain, but it worked out. But anyway, that's my whole PDW for everyone.
Nice.
Hey, we're going to talk a little bit about crypto. What do you know about cryptocurrency, sir?
Nothing.
Hey, I actually made $1,000 last week in crypto. So I turned around, I sold $1,000, put $100 back in. I'm already up to $450 from that $100.
Damn.
So, Doge is going to the moon. I highly recommend that if you want to get on this, you buy Doge now because basically it's like a cryptocurrency that Elon Musk tweets about, and every time he tweets about it, it goes up, every time. And he's supposed to be on SNL tomorrow, so it's supposed to rocket even more so. Dude, it's crazy. When I first bought it, it was 8 cents. It was 0.8 of a cent when I first bought it. It's worth 70 cents now. So a buddy of mine put in $40, and it's worth over $7,000 at this point. Crazy. And then there's like other ones like Ethereum Classic. They're flying up too. But all I'm saying, if you want to get in and you got an extra $100, you're willing to like almost like risk and lose. Do it. Like go out, buy cryptocurrency. You could make some serious money. You could also lose the $100, but right now it's trending like crazy.
What happens if you invest the money and you lose everything? Is there a possibility that you could like have to owe money from how badly it does? You just lose it?
No, if you so there's something called margin. And what margin is, if you want to do this, I like highly am against doing this. But depending on the app you have and your credit and stuff, you can basically do what's called margin, which is investing without your own money. It's basically a credit card almost, but only specifically for stocks. So there are idiots who did invest with margin. So you invest with margin, and then like say you invest $1,000, it's like taking $1,000 out on a credit card. And then if you lose it all, you're fucked. I wouldn't recommend that. But the cool thing is if you invest $100, say you invest 100 in Doge right today, and it just tanks, and it's worth like $10, just leave it there. Like in 2-3 years, it might go back up. You never know. You just keep an eye on it. You'll never owe anything. You know, it's just the money you put in. You could just lose it all. It could never recover. There's always a chance of that. And it's volatile. So like, dude, I put 500 in, and over the next 2 days, it just crashed. Like it just 50% off the top. So I pulled it out because I'm like, I'm not losing $500. But it can be very, very volatile, which is the sketchy thing. Whereas just stocks are much less volatile. They're up 1% maybe. This will go up and down 50% in one day, which is crazy. But that's how you make the money. That's how you like multiply it. So the nice thing is you can use like relatively small amounts of money. Like I said, $100. I mean, it's a lot of money for a lot of people, but a lot of people could swing it, right? Just 100. But you can turn that 100, like I said, into 500, which is what I just did, you know? So I recommend it if you got the extra money. It's just kind of fun.
Yeah, maybe I might do that just to see like what ends up happening. And like if you just leave it in there and just let it ride, like there's a chance that like you could lose everything, but then there's a chance that after Saturday Night Live it could turn into like $10,000.
Yeah, and like literally I knew someone who put in like 40, I want to say, maybe less, and she forgot about her account. Yeah. She looked at it was worth like over 700 because she bought it, was like, well, whatever. She bought it so cheap, and then she looked at it's worth a ton. Again, you might just lose the $40. You might just throw it into oblivion. But it might make money. It's kind of like gambling in a way, but in my opinion, you're gambling on something that's more, I don't know, like attainable or something that makes more sense.
Yeah,
but yeah,
well, I know a guy. His name is Ben. Shout out Ben from 205. He said he had some wise words. He said, "Don't invest anything that you can't lose."
Yeah, exactly. 100%. If don't bet your mortgage on it. Bet the extra money that you just want to enjoy. Like if you were going to buy a video game or something, you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll just spend the $60 and buy like Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever. I mean, it doesn't hurt. You can spend the next like few months just watching it go up and down, or you can even watch it go up. Like you can put your 40 in, you watch it double to 80, and then you hear like another crypto is about to be trending. You can pull the 80 out and put it in the other crypto, and so you're like using your gains to make even more money, which is like a nice way to do it.
That's cool.
So, it's definitely worth it. Hey, the next thing I have here is there's a global microchip shortage. Have you heard about this?
No, tell me about it.
So, it started last year when COVID really started. There is a shortage, obviously, but also more importantly, from what I understand, what the research I did, is there is a much higher demand for everything, for computers, for iPads, for everything, smartphones, because so many people are working from home, and then maybe companies start giving out like work phones because everyone's working from home, and then you also need a hotspot, and then you need just everything. And so there's over the past year we've kind of hit the max here, and there's a huge shortage. There are tons of like F-150 sitting on a parking lot that they can't finish because there's no microchips. There's Apple is apparently starting to feel this. The benefit they have is they control their microchip production, so the only people who supply Apple basically is Apple, whereas like the people who give Samsung a lot of their microchips is like I can't remember the name of the big microchip company, but it's a big microchip company that supplies it to everybody. Qualcomm, that's the one. Qualcomm. So what this means for you is there are less smartphones, there are less computers, there are no GPUs, and guess what? There's going to be less PS5s too. When we were talking about PlayStation 5s last year, we were saying, oh, April, easy. April, they'll be on the shelves. Oh, May at the latest. Nope, they're not there. They're still impossible to get, and this is a big reason.
Yeah, so the shittiest thing about there being fewer and fewer of these out there, I keep telling myself that it's going to be next month I'm going to really go out there and try to get a PS5 like I did earlier, and it's just going to be the same story next month, because I told myself exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I feel bad. Like, I'm really fortunate I managed to grab one up, but it sucks. And then some people are like mad at Sony. They're like, Sony should have known. Sony should have known. You can't really be mad at Sony. Sony's made more PlayStations than any console ever. Like, they've literally pumped out PlayStations nonstop the whole time. They had like double the launch numbers that they had for the PS4, and they still are getting like demolished. And so like, you could be mad at PlayStation, but to be honest with you, if they have nothing to sell, then they're the only person who they're not benefiting. You know, they want to sell as many as humanly possible. That's like the name of the game. So obviously you have people who make a lot of money, and there's a lot of money being passed around to try to get these things to everybody. So don't be mad at Sony. Be mad at the world and COVID. And scalpers. Yeah, and scalpers.
Yeah. Dude, so, we work with consumer electronics, and we've seen it hit hard because of the microchip shortage. And a lot of people were like, well, maybe it's because of the Suez Canal debacle that happened too. And yeah, that may be part of it, but I think overall it's just the microchip shortage. That's the real end of the story.
For sure. I agree.
Yeah, and people are super upset that like we don't have all of these things that they want. It's like, hey, dude, like it's not like there's this magical place in the back. It's not like we have Santa's workshop back there that we can just like have people make whatever you want. Like, we get shipped stuff too. We didn't make your consumer electronic that we're redistributing to you. Like, Go have an Eskimo pie.
I was telling a friend, he said he was talking to me about how he wanted to get like I don't remember, like a Samsung or something, and I was like, dude, if you want a Samsung, go get it now. Find it. Grab a hold of it, because the rumor on the street is the shortage is only going to get worse. They're only falling more behind. And I was reading about it too. Apparently there's a shortage of, there's a drought now in Taiwan. So they're falling even more behind. So like, and how the supply chain works is like, when they fall behind, we don't feel that hit until like months later, you know? So it's crazy, but, just y'all be ready, because there's about to be no electronics. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Well, get all of your electronics as soon as you can, because this pandemic's not going away anytime soon either. We're seeing spikes here, spikes there, followed by like, oh hey, the numbers are looking better, and it's like, oh cool, let's all go out and do a bunch of shit without our masks on, and then we see another spike.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And one thing I wanted to say too is I was watching a video today, and this company, Lioness Tech Tips, if you know computers, then you know this YouTuber. It's one of the biggest computer YouTubers there is out there, and he did a competition. And I feel like any other time, like they do a big competition, they just give away a bunch of GPUs. But this competition, you didn't win a GPU. What you won is the ability to purchase one at a normal price. So literally, you got on, and if you won, if you won, you got 10% off. But if you didn't win, then you got the ability to purchase one full retail price. And everyone's like, oh my god, at retail price? Wow, you know? Which is crazy. I bought a RTX 2060 almost 3 years ago. for $350, and I sold it to this dude. Which I should tell this story because this is actually a funny story. I go on Facebook Marketplace. I put it up there for $600. I got a bunch of offers. This guy says, "Yeah, okay, I'll give you $600." I was like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "I'm driving from 45 minutes away. Can you meet?" I was like, "Yeah, meet at the Safeway near my house." I told him where the Safeway was. So I pulled up into the Safeway and I was in the parking lot. I was like, "All right, you want to meet in the parking lot? Like, I'll just give it to you in the parking lot." And he's like, "No, I'd rather meet inside." I was like, "Fair, no problem with that. You want to be careful." So I meet him in the parking lot, and this very large African-American, very effeminate man comes in, wanting to purchase this thing. He tells me, he's very nice, but he tells me that last time he met up with someone, he was shot. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, last time I met up with someone to buy an iPhone 7, and they shot me. I was like, dang! And he's like, that's why I wanted to meet inside. And he tells me, dude, it's so funny how this dude explained it. He tells me he shows up to this place, he's in his car, and this guy pulls up. He explained it as a tiny little gun out. And the guy said, "Give me all your money." And he said, "Are you sure you want me to give you all my money, or just half the money with that little thing?" And points at the tiny little gun and makes fun of the guy's gun.
Jesus.
So he pulls off, and the guy shot him in the arm. Dude, but...
And did he go to the hospital?
Yeah, he went to the hospital and everything, but he's like, dude, this is the first time I've met up with anyone. He said he was buying this for his boyfriend, and he was really nervous about it, but he wanted to meet in a Safeway. I was like, dude, I don't blame you. I'm more than happy to meet you in a Safeway. But yeah, almost double the price for that RTX compared to like normal prices. It's pretty crazy.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, that's my story about RTX. My RTX 2060. All right, here we are on our last topic. There is actually a huge court case going on right now. It's Apple versus Epic. Do you know much about this?
We didn't even talk about Mortal Kombat.
Oh, dude, my bad. Shoot.
You motherfucker.
Oh man, I want to talk about it too because I watched the whole thing.
Dude, I watched it twice.
Ooh, nice.
First, I also had a question that I meant to ask you before, and sorry everybody, we're backtracking, but Handmaid's Tale, what would you grade it for everybody out there?
Remember my grading scale is a grading scale that's really hard on everything. So like,
okay.
an A plus might go to like one show ever, right? This is how my grading scale goes.
What, The Office?
The Office is up there. The Office is probably an A. That means it's like a borderline once-in-a-lifetime show. I give Handmaid's Tale a B, which is like way above average in my opinion. B plus actually. It's good. It's way better than I like. And I don't even feel like I'm necessarily the target audience. Like my wife is like the target audience. People who like shows that where people talk a lot and all that stuff, and there's not like a lot of action or anything like that. But it's definitely worth watching. What about you? What do you give? Well, you want to talk about Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Wherever you want to start.
Yeah. So, just as a backstory, I went in kind of knowing a lot about the movie already because I had read a bunch of articles that broke down some of the key plot elements. So I went in knowing a little bit of the story, and I think we even covered part of it on the show, how I wasn't anticipating a good movie, and I was kind of ready to be disappointed. I'm also a huge fan of the video games. Like me and Mr. Lonely, we used to play all the fucking time. Like he had every single Mortal Kombat game, and we would just sit there and try to unlock like all the fatality, or not unlock, we would like try to like play the game and perform all of the fatalities, all the brutalities, and so forth. So now fast forward to me as a straight up adult watching what's set up from a kid's video game. I watched it, and I sat there and I gave it a chance. Overall, I would still give it like a C minus. So I wasn't like super like upset or anything like that. I wasn't overwhelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed. I was just whelmed. That was it. Actually, I'm slightly underwhelmed, but I think that the key to it was that I thought that they brought the wrong characters to the movie. I thought introducing a new character was a huge mistake, and I'm definitely right about that. That's like objectively right. The plus to the movie were the special effects mostly. I think the other plus was the fact that they went full rated R with the gore. And the other thing that I thought was really good was the pacing once you got all of the introductions out of the way. And the first 7 minutes, I thought that was a nice touch to be able to release that early so that people kind of knew what they were in for. And then the last thing I would say, just like as another like downside to the movie, is the fact that there was no tournament. They talk a lot about this tournament that's supposed to happen. There's no fucking tournament. Sorry, spoiler alert. But they do set things up for another movie, which is nice. Whoever knows how long that's going to be, I don't know. But what do you think?
I guess it's really hard. I think that you nailed it on the head there, because like, what do I want out of a Mortal Kombat movie? Do I want a realistic look on what the tournament would be like? Or do I want like an ode to the game? Because the game's campy, right? The game is like over the top, kind of cheesy. You have Rambo fighting the Joker, fighting Sub-Zero, fighting Scorpion. The game is like, it's silly, but it's awesome in a good way. No insults towards it. I thought the movie like captured it about as good as you could have. Like how like they'll say like flawless, like they say flawless victory, and you're like, okay, like I see you. How else you put it in here?
There's
or they say finish it. Yeah, exactly. And I thought the characters were really well. I think the characters generally were really well casted. Like Sonya Blade looked like Sonya Blade to me. Goro looked really good in my opinion. Liu Kang. I thought Raiden was an odd casting, but Raiden.
He's a difficult one to cast, though.
Yeah, because he's like a Bob. Generally, I always see him as like a buff old white dude. That's how I always see him in my head. But
you know who kind of would have been a good idea? And like you probably could have like colored his hair and made him Raiden. I think Bob Odenkirk would have been good.
I think Bob Odenkirk's like too funny though.
I don't know. Everybody says that nobody was good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I thought overall I did really like the movie because it was Mortal Kombat. Like it was actually like Mortal Kombat. It didn't try to be like super realistic. It didn't try to like humanize them. It was just kind of silly. I think you are correct 1,000%. They shouldn't have introduced a new character. Like this is Mortal Kombat. The other I think complaint I had isn't generally like I didn't think Sub-Zero's outfit was quite there. It wasn't like enough blue in my opinion. He had kind of a.
It looked a lot like Scorpion's outfit in Mortal Kombat X. If you go back and look at it, like right down to like the shoulder armor that flares up, it looked a lot like Scorpion's armor. And Scorpion, I feel like wasn't that good. They didn't execute Scorpion really well. I thought Scorpion was definitely stronger than Sub-Zero. I like Scorpion overall. I just wanted to see more of him. Yeah.
I guess I don't know if we should spoil it. Should we spoil it? Like, it's hard to talk about.
Let's give everybody like 10 seconds to like turn the rest of this pod off.
Yeah, if you should go if you really want to watch it. To be honest with you, you could probably get it spoiled and still enjoy the movie. If I'm being 1,000% honest.
Yeah, if you saw the trailer, you saw the movie. That's the other thing that pissed me off.
What I'll tell you now with the spoilers, what I really was hoping is that the dude who ended up being the new character, the main guy, like who was that weird like body armored guy, I thought he was going to end up being like Scorpion, but like Scorpion was somehow inherited, like basically, like
or something.
Yeah, well, so basically, like, I was hoping at some point he'd be fighting and, like, he'd be about to die, and, like, his ancient, like, his great-great-grandfather would be like, no, you take my powers, and then he would have been this badass, there would have been this badass Scorpion moment where he, like, put on the mask or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been cool. Because at one part, he didn't even have the little kunai, the get over here kunai. So I was like, okay, here it comes. Like, he's going to be Scorpion after all this. But obviously, he never became Scorpion.
I think his power is so stupid. So the new character's name is Cole Young. The whole idea of the way they get superpowers is also stupid too. They call it an arcana, and the people that are chosen to compete in Mortal Kombat get these special powers that are given by their marking. Like, Jax has little wimpy robot arms, and as soon as he's in danger or needs to like save somebody, he gets the famous Jackson Briggs arms. Mm-hmm. But like Cole Young, he gets the shit kicked out of him all the fucking time, and everybody makes this joke like, yeah, you can really take a hit. His superpower is to be indestructible. That's like instantly like the strongest the strongest character in Mortal Kombat at that point. So like, what's the point of even having him in the movie?
No, yeah, I totally agree, dude. Like, the thing about Mortal Kombat is the characters are so strong, and dude, it's almost like they put Superman in the movie. Like, to me, Superman's like the most boring superhero.
Yeah.
He can shoot lasers and he's invincible and he can fly. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. To me, he was probably the weak part of the movie. But like you said, the Easter eggs and the amount of characters was good. Like, obviously, there were some big names, like Baraka wasn't in there. But we saw him. He was like in a, like, whatever. He was like in a flashback. No, not a flashback. He was on a painting, I think.
Yeah, he was on some of the tapestries. So was Shao Kahn. So was Nightwolf. We saw Katana's fan blades. Yep. We saw Kotal Khan, like a golden bust of Kotal Khan. Mm-hmm. I was really upset with the way they did Reptile, though. I wish they would have done humanoid Reptile instead of lizard Reptile.
1000%, dude. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I knew that was Reptile, but I was thinking, wait. I was just waiting at any time for him to fly out into human form.
Yeah.
It would have been way cooler, even if, like, because that was their first introduction to, like, the Mortal Kombat, like, that there's, like, kind of this evil, like, entity, or not entity, but there's things with superpowers. It would have been dope if they would have ran into Reptile and been like, dude, what are you doing? And been, like, fighting him. And then the moment when he turned in to the Reptile would have been like, oh, shit, like, he's got magic powers. One thing that I did actually really love that they did include in the movie was the dragon. The big dragon, was it Liu Kang? Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
His dragon. I was like, okay.
That's
cool.
You know, the other thing that I thought was a little wild was the fact that they played this out really, like, for I think maybe 2/3 of the movie, Kano being not necessarily a good guy, but he wasn't a bad guy. And if they would have just kept that, because the two things that I think sold the movie in my favor anyway was the fact that Kano was super funny, super well developed character, the fact that they had all of the gore, and then the last thing I would say is that the special effects were good. But Kano being really cool, and normally I kind of don't really play with Kano when I play the games, because he's a very pivotal character to the lore of Mortal Kombat, but I don't really care about him that much. In this movie, I did.
He was funny, and, like, he has that, like, I don't even know how to describe it. That, like, raunchy, like, kind of, really, like, sexist, witty, like, asshole style to him.
Yeah. Yeah, they did
cool.
His dialogue really well.
And they introduced how he got, like, the eye lasers, which is kind of weird. Like, he just gets the power, and he starts, that one part, he just starts, like, shooting the statue, which is like shooting the statue with his eye.
One thing that I thought that I do disagree with you on, so there's this part